Sorry, Madam President.
Finally. I'd like to call this meeting to order and welcome everyone here this evening. If we could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May you be seated. Roll call, please, Dr. Fuller.
Mrs. Wise.
Present.
Mr. Irwin. Mrs. Killian.
Present.
Mrs. Moore.
Present.
Ms. Lauer.
Present.
Dr. Powers.
Present.
Ms. Scott.
Here.
Our vision and mission. Our vision is working together with our community. We inspire our students to discover their talents and rise to their greatest potential. Our mission is building on the strengths of our diverse community. We create an engaging, comprehensive educational environment that supports the growth of lifelong learners. Before we get started, I just want to remind anyone that wants to speak this evening for public comment, you need to sign out, do the sign-in sheet with Catherine out in the hallway, please. First on the agenda is the consent agenda.
I move acceptance of the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
We have a motion for approval and a second. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Okay. All those in favor of approving signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, and abstain. Thank you. Next is the accounts payable docket from the Finance Committee. We did meet this week and had our questions answered. Donna and her team are always very thorough in providing those answers and sending those out to the entire board, which is always appreciated.
Yes, I move to approve the accounts payable docket.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstain. Thank you. New business, the personnel report and professional leave request, Mr. Michael Cox.
President Killian, Superintendent Hayworth, members of the Board of Trustees, administration seeks approval of personnel professional leave report as presented this evening.
I'll make a motion to accept the personnel report as presented this evening.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second to approve the personnel and professional leave request report. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Just one, are we all set for the school year?
We will be ready to go. 13,500 students will be in our doors, ready or not. We are looking at CTE positions. We've had some late resignations on those. And science positions, special education. So we will be ready to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and abstain. Thank you. We are going to skip around to number 3 on the agenda, Chromebook repair fees, Mr. Doug Miller.
Moving right along here tonight. President Killian, Dr. Hayworth, and members of the board, I'd like to request approval of some Chromebook repair fees for the school year 2022-2023 to begin. Right now, we do not charge anything for the use of the devices. Haven't charged anything to this point, and so we would like to have a repair fee approved, simply to cover the repair costs of the device, nothing more than what it actually takes to repair the device. And so we hope by doing that we can encourage students to take better care of them. And so I'd like to ask for your approval of that fee tonight.
I'll move approval of the Chromebook repair fees.
have a motion to approve and a second. Are there any public comments on that? Any board comments or questions?
I have a question. So, just like with textbook fees, students who are on free and reduced lunch, will there be any break for students with a demonstrated need?
We will send the same invoice home. Now, I think those are all treated with care. But yes, that's the intention with this. And so really, you know, our teachers are asking for help here because they're seeing students take and pop keys off, and then we give them a new one, and there's nothing, no letter goes home or anything at this point. But now we would like to send an invoice home, and at least with that, our parents will become involved, and so hopefully get a little help there.
Will we send communication home before any fees have to be assessed? So just as a heads up, this has been voted on this date, this is what will happen?
Yeah, so this is the first step, to ask for your approval. And then, first day of school, we won't be ready. I'll just tell you, we won't be ready to implement this. We'll try. Yes, we need to start with our principals and talk this through and make sure that they are aware of this, and then work our way into those that care for the devices, and our teachers and TRTs will need to be involved in this process. Yeah, this would just be the first step to implement the fees.
Are the repair fees common across?
They are, when you said that, Dr. Powers, I think what we will do is we'll just investigate what other districts do with their free and reduced lunch students and how they make those adjustments.
All right, thank you.
And this is not regarding a repair fee, but those that have lost their Chromebooks, they're charged for the.
Lost devices are also on this repair schedule, yeah. So, you know, the device itself is in excess of what we would charge. It costs more than $300 to replace a device. But one that's lost, currently we do send an invoice home for that lost device. And you know what's interesting, when we send the invoice home, half of them end up being found. And so I think the communication with home is really important. And so this is going to be a mechanism to start that.
And just a point of clarification, these are when they're presented as broken and or lost in some capacity. There's not like a standard set fee that's going out to everybody just in case of repair. These are just as it happens.
Only those that get damaged.
Right.
Yeah, so take care of your device, it's not cost anything at this point.
It should not, if you take care of it, that's the
Right,
incentive.
Right,
Yep,
right. And
great.
so we do have some students that have had multiple devices, and then hopefully this can help that.
Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. We do have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and abstain. Thank you. We will jump back up to number 2 for the change order request. Mrs. Mary Krupinski from Fanning and Howie.
Thank you. Tonight, so we're getting very close to being able to open this facility back up as a whole. And we're just on the last couple weeks of that. This change order is covering a lot of existing conditions that we've come across. A lot of them happen to be in the music room where we've taken out the ceiling and exposed structure and found some conditions there. But I'll go over these one by one. There are 7 items, and the first item is to add a grease interceptor to the new dishwashing room. It's an existing dishwashing room, but we were redoing it, and the old one was defunct, so we're replacing that. That's for a cost of $4,831. We have costs to provide additional lighting circuit in Unit H, and that's also in regards to overloaded circuits that we didn't anticipate. That's a cost of $3,895. Item 3 is a cost for fire-rated wall upgrades and metal enclosures at masonry and existing wall conditions. This is strictly within the music wing renovation. Some conditions that were uncovered, a lot of the exterior walls above the ceiling were not closed up to the deck, and so we're now closing those and creating a solid thermal barrier there. This is a cost of $17,619. Item number 4 is to conceal the top of walls exposed in Unit H, and this is basically due to where steel goes through concrete block walls and it's filled with spray foam, and that's not really the end result we want to see, so we've covered that with drywall. There's considerable amount of times that went through the steel went through the concrete block walls. That was $7,410. Number 5 is a cost to infill floor openings and extend CMU walls. This is in around the cafeteria and the new assistant principal's office, infilling some holes in the floor where that was where your heating system was coming up at one time, and then extending some walls to deck to create 2-hour wall conditions that we had to due to the addition. Again, these were items that could not readily be seen during prior to construction. Item number, that was $5,283. Item number 6 is a credit for refinishing the existing gym floor in the area where we relocated the fitness area. So that was done under a contract that you have for the rest of the gym floor. So that is a credit back off this contract of $1,950. Then the last item, item number 7, again is back in the music area. We have ductwork that we are routing through the trusses, which usually works just fine, but the existing trusses were actually offset. So we could only go a certain distance, then we had to offset. And so actually the connections for that and to rehem the soft stock distribution had to be done in 2 rooms there. And that is at a cost of $4,131. So the total of these items tonight does come up to a total cost change order of $41,219. I will say that out of the original contingency budget, there is still $51,500 left in that. And then we just, at this point, everything on the cash allowance will still have a balance in the cash allowance of approximately $1,383. So with that, I would ask for approval or able to answer any questions in regards to this change order.
I'll move approval of the change order as presented.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the change order. Are there any public comments on this section? Are there any comments or questions from the board?
You said that there's still money left in the contingency fund.
Yes.
Enough to, I mean, and we're very, very close to the end of this project. Hopefully, you have confidence that we're not going to exceed that contingency fund.
I don't anticipate that.
Okay.
No. Yeah, we're very close to the end. Right now, we don't have any further PRs out, proposal requests, for upcoming items. It's really, I won't say that there won't be any. We're not to the very final end yet. Everything is anticipated to be in place and for the start of school, minus maybe a dedication plaque, but that will be coming shortly.
Thank you.
That was my question. You said, Mary, a couple of weeks, and
Well,
that's all
you're
we've
right
got.
here.
That's
Right,
all we've
right.
got,
That's what
so
we got.
you will be out when the kids are in.
I know that Garmong has done a fantastic job on keeping this project paced, and they are working effortlessly to get the project finished. There are always things that happen as you turn a project over at this time of year. So I'm not gonna say we're gonna be totally out and we won't see anyone. There's bound to be things as school initiates that get smoothed out, whether it's HVAC controls or whatever. Some things that we anticipate that might be a little late might be the signage. But they're working very hard to try to get that, everyone's working very hard to try to get that in place as soon as possible.
Yeah, I would interject school furniture as well. And that is supply chain issue. We have a target in August that we should have it, but then it'll be a rolling process, assemble it on site, move it into a building, move it into a classroom within the building. Do that while students are in session. So Mary is right, there will be those final checklist items that we will still be working on when the school year gets started.
Yeah, contractor usually has about 60 days to kind of fine tune everything. I do know also that there's some music room storage that won't be in until fall.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Mary, thank you.
Great, thank you.
We have a motion and a second to approve the change order from Fanning Howley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And abstain. Thank you. Next on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding between BCSC and St. Mary of the Woods College. Superintendent Hayes.
Board President, members of the board, the administration seeks approval for the memorandum of understanding between the Vigo County School Corporation and St. Mary of the Woods College in relationship to the use of football, the football field by the new sprint football program at St. Mary of the Woods, which we're excited about.
I'll make a motion to accept the MOU between Vigo County School Corporation and St. Mary of the Woods College.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding. At this time, are there any public comments? Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the board?
I appreciate St. Mary of the Woods personnel being here tonight. And I'm pleased that we're able to set this up at the West Vigo High School arena. And the sprint football, having asked this question, I'll share this.
Get ready back there, Coach. I don't know where this is.
You can edit. The only difference is the weight, 178
Correct.
pounds or less.
Correct.
And they wear the whole, all of the gear and everything else. So that is the definition of sprint football. Thank you. You're welcome.
We do have a few guests from St. Mary's. Would you guys care to introduce yourselves?
Brendan Randolph, Vice President for Enrollment Management.
Blaine Powell, head sprint football coach.
Thomas Henderson, assistant sprint football coach, high school performance coach.
Craig Pearson, athletics communications coordinator.
And if I miss my opportunity for a comment, my apology, but just wanted to convey to the board our appreciation and support of this field and our use of the field. We've always had a really close partnership with West Vigo since we're so close, and we're really thrilled to offer this program. This really is an opportunity for us to welcome students not only into our community, but also into our institution that would not have an opportunity to compete like this in another sport. I mean, you can just think about typical football players, and 178 pounds is usually not the weight limit or the size you're looking at. So we're excited about what this is going to do for the community and appreciate the support. So thank you.
Could you remind us of the first game, the first home game, the date?
September 24th.
September
2
24th.
o'clock.
2 o'clock. Thank you.
That's a Saturday. It's Wabashiki Day.
Well, we look forward to it. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? We have a motion and a second to approve the Memorandum of Understanding between VCSC and St. Mary of the Woods College for sprint football. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and abstain.
Thank you, board.
Next on the agenda are comments, correspondence, and information. The call for citizen comments. Again, just a reminder, when you do come to the meeting, we definitely want to hear from you, but we do ask that you sign up with Catherine in the hallway before or after the comment, just so if there are any questions that the board can make sure, the administration can make sure your questions are answered. But I do not have anything at this time. So information from Superintendent Hayworth or board members.
We are excited. It's our second annual Student Leadership Conference hosted by Ivy Tech. We'll start that tomorrow morning at 8:30. It'll run through 2 o'clock. We'll have speakers from the community and from our staff, focusing on some essentials in leadership, building trust, establishing a vision, setting strategy, coaching potential, and decisive decision-making. So we're excited to welcome the class officers and student council members to this year's conference, and would welcome the board to stop by and have lunch with us or just hang out for a while.
Any board member comments or information you'd like to share?
I just have one. It's just that we have a famous person in our midst at Davis Park Elementary School. A YouTube famous singer, Mr. Richard Goodall, who is working in custodial services at Davis Park and entertained the masses and has gone viral. And we have seen even the member of the lead singer of Journey be interested in that, responding to him on Twitter. So I just think that bears some recognition, and I would love to see him come and sing for us.
We are going to try to,
He's been invited.
Make that happen at our next board meeting. You know, school funding is always an issue, and I think if he is successful on the concert tour, we need to tap into that. No, he's quite remarkable. Would love to have him here at our next meeting.
Definitely check out the YouTube video. That's my plug.
Any other comments or committee reports from the board members? All right, our future meeting, our next meeting is Monday, August 8th, here in the administration building at 6 p.m. Do I have a motion and a second for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.